Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Oh, that sounded very like early 90s, like, hello, everybody. Welcome to another
You
episode.
sounded like a robot.
Right? I did. It's weird. I don't know. My voice has been weird. I think it's just a change of weather. Like, it's been raspy and in and out. Like, I sound like a kid going through puberty. So, but anyway, welcome back to another episode of the What's New Mama podcast. We're your hosts, Giselle and Amy.
Hi.
Hi. So we had recently a big episode with Raquel, which we didn't plan on it being such a large episode, but I could talk to Raquel for hours, obviously. Like you guys would notice if you listened or if you watched it. I love her very much. She has been a part of my life for over 10 years at this point. But yeah, so we just got off of that episode and then I went on vacation, which was an actual true vacation.
And it was your birthday, so
and it was
happy
my birthday.
Yeah.
And it was my birthday. Yes, I turned 35. It's so weird. I feel better now than I did in my 20s. Even after like a kid and like all that, I feel way better. Probably because I've grown and I've learned how to take care of my body, take care of myself a little bit more. And obviously not in toxic situations.
Yeah.
But I'm in a really good place. I mean, I'm stressed with work, don't get me wrong. I'm very stressed with work, where every day I'm like, I need to find another job probably.
Oh my God.
So if any of my coworkers are listening, don't repeat that back to somebody else. But no, it's stressful. But any job is stressful, right?
Yeah.
Hence why we started this podcast. Motherhood. A very stressful job, but a very rewarding job. A lot of segues I just went into there.
So wait, you went on vacation. You were in Chicago. That's right.
Chicago, yes.
How was Chicago?
I felt
other than it being cold, because I was surprised.
It was good. No, it was good for the most part. And then that one day, Halloween, actually, I believe it was Halloween, it freaking snowed. And it was only supposed to be like light flurries. And everybody there, like locals, were like, is it still snowing? And everybody was like, no, it's worse than what we thought it would be. So it was pretty intense. Like, I think I posted a video on my personal Instagram. I'll post it on the podcast page. And I know I sent it to you, like straight up, like snow, blizzard-ish. And then it chilled out and then it stopped. So, but it was beautiful. Another time, another place, Tom and I already agreed if the deaths didn't happen this summer and there was no baby, we would live there for about a year or two. Like we fell in love. Like he went there before with his boys and he fell in love. He's like, he came back and he's like, you're gonna love that place, trust me. It's everything I love about New York, without the things that I kind of love New York despite, right? So beautiful city, beautiful architecture. Like I told you, I was like, you and Vic would love it there. Like you guys are both engineers. You guys would be in awe of what, like, phenomenal architecture. The not as crowded as New York, but still the walkability of New York City, I should say, New York City. So you could walk anywhere 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you're there. Phenomenal food. Like, I didn't think I would ever say this, but I borderline am tempted to say, on record, obviously, probably better food than New York.
Okay.
Like, and this is like in the mom and pop. This isn't like, we didn't go to 5-star, Michelin star, whatever restaurants. Like, we went to the mom and pop, like, places. Oh, and do you watch The Bear? Do you watch The Bear?
No.
Oh,
no.
You gotta watch that show. It's so good. I mean, give it a try. You may or may not like it. But we went to, it's called Mr. Beef's. And it's the actual place in Chicago that they sell like shredded, like beef, like sandwiches, like traditional Chicago, like beef sandwiches. And the show is inspired by that little tiny shop. And we were like, let's try it. Let's see. It might be overly hyped. Who knows? I still to this, like, we've been back for over a week, I think, a week or so. I still dream about that sandwich. Like, they did the sandwich. It was thinly sliced beef. And I don't know what they season that with, but it's amazing. So if you're in Chicago, or if you're planning on going to Chicago, go to Mr. Beef's. If you look up articles on it now, they went from making, Tom was telling me, 800 sandwiches or so a day or something like that to 1,000 something sandwiches. Like, it jumped dramatically after the show because apparently the writer or creator of the show worked at that place like years ago. And I think also the main actor, Jeremy Allen White, I think his name is, he was in Shameless. Do you watch that show? No. But he also worked there to get experience to see what it was like to work in the place that he's supposed to be. He's the main actor in the show. Okay. And he's like the chef. So he worked there too. But point is, great food. Like, phenomenal food, reasonable prices, and Lincoln Park. We were in Lincoln Park, and the whole entire time we're like singing Lincoln Park every time. It's just inevitable. But Lincoln Park was probably my favorite. Okay. And then there was Fulton Market, which was super like San Francisco type of vibe, where you had like just overall like the little bars and the ethnic food places and like all that stuff. And then Wicker Park, I went because of the movie, obviously. Do you know the movie? Wicker Park with Josh Hartnett. Came out.
I got a lot of stuff to go and watch. It's funny because I actually do keep a note in my phone, and it's like things to watch. Gotcha. If anybody brings up anything like, "Oh, you should watch this," I immediately go and put it in there. So it's on I'll put it on my checklist.
So it's a very old movie. I think it's from the 90s. I mean, it was when Josh Hartnett was. I mean, at this point, that's over 20 years old. Yeah. Like, let's not minimize
I keep forgetting because when people tell me like the 90s, I think it was like within the last 10 years or so.
It's like, oh yeah, like 5 years ago. It's like, no. We're fucking old. Yeah. Either late 90s or early 2000s. I don't remember exactly when. I honestly don't remember the ins and outs of the movie either. Okay. I just remember it being in my memory and me saying, I want to go visit Wicker Park someday. Okay. Anyway, we went there. Everyone was nice. I've had the best. I ate pizza in bed, burgers, cake, cupcakes. Like,
definitely better than the Florida trip.
That doesn't even count as a trip. That shit was just a bad omen. I don't know. But this was an actual vacation. We both fully enjoyed each other, like our time there. Like, the baby had a good time. And it was just,
he was actually smiling in all the pictures voluntarily.
Tom? Yeah. Yeah, I told him that. I was like, you actually look like I didn't just force you to take this picture.
I remember showing Vic, I was like, look, he's actually smiling voluntarily. I was like, he's having a good time.
he hates pictures, you know, so he does it for me, but he was, I was like, look at this smile.
It was very like, I was just like, oh, look, he's very happy.
Yeah, it was, I think we both needed that after the other vacation we had.
Such a rough time last couple months.
But I'll tell you one thing I will never do again, because obviously I work remote most of the time. I was like, oh, I'll take PTO like Friday to Monday, and then I'll work
while you're traveling.
While I'm traveling, because we drove, and I have the VPN on the computer. I have a SIM card, so I don't need to be connected to anything. I just need to charge. Never again. It was so stressful. Like, it was the end of the month. I'm in sales. Like, it was the most stressful time ever. And also road trip duties, right? Like, it's the unspoken rule. Like, Tom is driving, so I'm on baby duty and making sure that Derek is okay. He has snacks, toys, and all that stuff. So me doing that, plus trying to work, and Tom
and making sure Tom's still, awake. Right? Awake. Not that he would fall asleep, but no. It's still in the back of your brain.
Yeah.
So.
But we drove straight over, back. But going over there, it was crazy with work and all that stuff. I was like, I need to stop somewhere because I need to like rest for a little bit, and I need to charge my laptop. Like, it was crazy. So never doing that again. Taking a full vacation. Yeah. I'm not gonna
just disconnecting all the way.
Yeah, disconnecting all the way. So beautiful time. Highly recommend it. And it was my birthday. I was a nice time.
And so you guys didn't do Halloween this year.
So I did the pajamas. Like, I know we talked about it last couple episodes about how I felt guilty not dressing up Derek. But I was like, I'll just get in the pajamas. So he was in a firefighter pajama thing, but it was so cold that it didn't matter what outfit he had on, unless he had what he had last year. He had the Gremlins outfit, which was like the super fuzzy, cozy thing. The little Mogwai outfit. If he didn't have that, he would have been freezing. So we put the firefighter outfit, pajamas, and then his coat over it. And then we just explored.
Even here it was cold. We went trick or treating.
It wasn't that cold, but you were cold.
Well, remember I told you to keep the cold over there because I was like, literally, I don't know, maybe just because I got accustomed. I don't know.
I was in Chicago and everybody was telling me it's freaking summer in New York right now.
Yeah, okay. Maybe New York City.
Maybe it was up the here, day before Halloween. Then maybe it was. I think it was that Sunday.
Yes, it was that Sunday. So
it was like 78 degrees or something.
The weather played us, so it was like 70 something degrees Saturday and Sunday. So it was pretty nice. But then Monday it was cold, and then Tuesday it was colder. I was outside and I went out with like a Patagonia like fleece sweater. Yeah. I came right back in. I was like, I'm going to go get something heavier. I wore like a fluffy coat with a vest because I was freezing. Because once the sun goes down, forget about it.
That's the other thing. Cold. It's cold. Dark the minute it hits 5:30 now.
It's super cold.
Welcome to depression season. Speaking of, we just lost an hour.
Yes.
With the daylight savings.
Or did we gain one?
We lost an hour.
Don't we go fall back?
We went forward.
Back. No, we fell back.
We fell back?
Yeah, fall back. It's fall back, spring forward. Oh. Fall back. So we did gain.
All right, my bad.
We gained an hour. You felt like you lost one. Like, I lost an hour.
I'm over here and then you're telling me Milo was cranky and I'm like, maybe it's because he lost an hour.
I was like, yeah, I forgot about that whole thing because I woke up like, I look at my phone automatically switches time. So I was just like, it's 8 o'clock, same time I would normally wake up. Nope.
You basically slept until 9.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was great.
That was another thing that messed us up. Because I was working, but Chicago is an hour Central Time.
Yeah.
And so that jacked me up too because I was scheduling
They were
meetings.
Behind, what, 2 hours? Is that 2 hours?
An hour.
An hour. Okay.
So I was scheduling meetings. And I'm thinking I have time, and I'm looking at my time, and I'm like, it's not, it's 15, an hour and 15 minutes away. And I'm like, oh shit, it's 15 minutes from now.
No, it's not. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Never again. Never again. Okay, do not recommend.
Oh man, that's funny.
And another place I was obsessed with, I have to give him a shout out. Like, obviously I don't get sponsored by any of these places. So Nando's, which I've never heard of this place.
It's from across the pond, right? Nando's.
So I didn't know that until I spoke to this other girl from this bakery that I went to.
Okay.
Which I forgot the name of the bakery. If not, I will plug them too. I'll put it in the description. Really good baked goods. But Nando's, it was apparently from the UK. I didn't know that. And it's Afro-Portuguese food. When I tell you, I wanted to have that every day, but I discovered it like towards the end of the trip. And I remember every day that like we had like 2-3 days left. And I told Tom, I was like, so Nando's? And he's like, Giselle, if you fucking say Nando's one more time.
Oh my God.
He's like, I want to try other food. I don't want to just go to the same place. I was like, I know, but they have different locations. We just go to the different locations. But no, highly recommend it. And then the girl from the bakery, because she was asking me like, oh, where'd you guys go? And all stuff. I was like, well, I love Nando's for this, Mr. Beef's. There was another place called Salt Burger. And that was in Wicker Park.
Okay.
Really good too. And she was like, oh, it's funny. I didn't know about Nando's. I only found out about them like back when they were only in the UK, and it was because of One Direction. And so apparently that was their favorite place to eat. I didn't know that.
No idea.
She laughed. She was like, oh my God, you must think I'm such a dork. I was like, no, I don't care. I like, I listened to some of their songs. But yeah, so Nando's. That's another.
Yeah,
really
no,
good
I learned from it when I went across the pond.
Oh yeah, because you guys went to London and did all that.
Yeah,
Isn't that
we did that.
Your honeymoon? No. Your honeymoon. You went
it was for my 30th birthday.
30th birthday. There you go.
Yeah. It was a gift.
Did you like it?
Yes, loved it. Loved it
The
there. We
food,
had
no,
so
the
much
food.
fun. The food, yeah, we did. It's funny for my birth because I was there for my birthday for my 30th. So
Yeah.
like the day before, Vic took me to a restaurant that was like 7 or 8 courses.
Oh wow.
It was like really nice. It's in St. James Place, like the
Okay.
really like nice upscale area.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we went. He took me to go see it. Now I just remembered. He took me to go see Phantom of the Opera.
How was that?
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. I was a little like I was like, but I like the one here in New York City because that's like my favorite opera
Yeah.
and play to go see all the time. So I'm like, he figured to go see this version over there. It was
Yeah.
great. It was beautiful. I always love it.
Did you understand it? Did you? And I always say that you're gonna be like, what? I have the hardest time watching shows with English accents. Like I have to put subtitles sometimes.
It's pretty clear.
Like, I obviously understand what they're saying is English, but sometimes I forget what we were watching. Was it Ted Lasso? I forget which show we were watching. We were watching the David Beckham thing. The docu-series.
Oh, I watch everything with subtitles. Everything because I just
because you watch when you have Milo sometimes.
If I have Milo, on you, right? He's talking, so yeah. I'm like I can't hear anything because he'll try to sing over whatever.
Gotcha.
So I just read everything, but at night I also have it because I don't know. It's just a habit. It's a habit. A bad habit.
See, I can't keep it on standard because then I won't watch. I'll just read. Like my eyes gravitate towards the words instantly. Okay. But when it comes to English things, like British things, I should say, I have to have subtitles because there are some parts in like the docuseries, the Beckham, but the guy was like Scottish, so he had a really thick.
Oh yeah, it's very. Like, that's very
coach.
Hard to.
That's the coach guy, and I was like, blah, blah, blah. What did he say, Tom? Like I don't. And Tom just cracks up. Like he's like, do you want me to just put the subtitles on? But yeah, so okay, so you didn't have a hard time understanding. Like the theater.
No, that was good. Okay. No, that was good, and the food there was great. I mean, what we ate is funny. I think we did do like Pizza Hut one time because we're just curious.
Yeah, was it different?
Was it different? I don't remember. Yeah, I guess so. I think it was. Okay. I think it was better. I don't know. It was
probably they have less chemicals allowed into their food.
I'm trying to remember that trip. That trip feels like so long ago. That was like 7 years ago. Ugh.
You're 37?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that. Oh,
yes.
I thought you and I were the same age. Whatever. It's the same. 35. Like, yeah. Not that big of a difference. Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad you had it.
You guys should go there. I think Tom would like it because we did a graffiti tour.
Okay.
A street art tour. Yeah. It was cool. Real cool. Yeah, he would like that. That's like a thing that Victor likes. I didn't even know at the time. I was like, he was like, we got to go do this. I was like, okay. Like he reserved something on the last day for him to do that he liked.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, fine. I didn't even know you liked this stuff. Okay. And we have all these pictures on the camera.
Like an actual camera.
Like, not your phone. He went and took,
That's cool.
Fun. Yeah.
Do you print like your photos?
Yes, we have because of we have like little albums for us about us because I gave him an album for like one of our anniversaries. It's like the Up movie with they had like an album in the movie and it said like our adventure or something or the other, and I got him that exact same like replica.
That's cute.
So he could put pictures in for us.
That's really cute.
Or whatever. So we do that, and then for the kids, we have like little keepsake stuff.
Okay. How do you divide it? How do you keep track of? Because there's so many photos, obviously. Like my phone has thousands of photos. Like how do you organize it?
We do the trips for the ones for us, and then or major life changes. So like we'll add the pictures of when I gave birth to the kids. In there, and then for the kids, it's easy because the album itself tells you like, first birthday, second birthday, and it's just a couple pictures, and you get to write a little thing like, what did I get, what gifts I got, or something like that is what it has. Ooh, I got them both the same ones.
Let's include the link because that sounds pretty cool.
Those are cute, and it's like the year you were born, how much milk cost, who was president, and all this like little stuff that later on they could see, and you could do like their handprint or their footprint thing. Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have that.
Well, we'll put the link on there.
Anyway, we've been going all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, we're catching up too.
Yeah, because we haven't spoken face to face in a couple
days.
Just via text.
Yeah,
just via text.
Let me see what else has happened on the trip. Oh, we went to the Wonder Museum.
Mm-hmm.
I recommend it. It's not something that's in New York, so that's why I was like, oh, we gotta go while we're there.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. I think I posted like part of the reel in my personal Instagram, which I'll put it on the podcast one. But definitely an experience, especially because it's not available in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did the Willis Tower, and so that was pretty high up. We saw the baby. I know you saw the picture, and you're like, everybody was like, he's brave. Like,
I wouldn't do that. I'm scared of heights. No,
I'm scared of heights too.
No,
but it didn't feel that bad.
Nope. Absolutely not. I get like my palms start to sweat and I get clammy.
Okay.
And you could tell like the color starts draining off my face. Nope. Nope. It's like automatic for me.
Yeah. And then 2 days before that, we went to the John Hancock building, which also had like a 360 view, but we did that at night. And the other one we did during the day. And that one had the tilt, so you can lean and tilt out. We didn't do that because we had the baby, but I was like, damn, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Because you literally feel like you're going to fall.
No.
Like,
automatically no.
Well, so then when you were building all these projects.
Yep. Let me tell you.
High up, right?
Yeah. There was an elevator because they do the elevators outside.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
I can tell you the horror.
That's crazy.
If I had to be out there, I had to suck it up. I wouldn't talk to anybody. And I'd have my back because it's open. It's like an open cage to go up.
Yeah.
I just keep my back to the street. I won't look down. I look straight ahead. And the whole thing jiggles. Yes.
Yeah, no,
and it's windy.
That's different.
I was going to the 102nd floor. No, I'm okay. I wouldn't think about it, but yep, I did it. Yeah. Yep. I was just like, and I would be clammy, but no one would ever know. I was just like breathing through my mouth the whole time. Nobody would talk to me.
Yeah. Didn't you tell me you were pregnant once, like doing all that?
I went out like that too. Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, you're a brave woman. But yeah, no, that was part of my trip, and I'm scared of heights too. But that was one of those things that I was like, oh, I did it. Like everybody was like, oh, look, Derek was so good, and I was like, yeah, but I was so good too because I'm terrified of heights too. But yeah, now we're back to real life, and all that. It feels like so long ago now.
Yeah,
it's been a week. But anyway, here we are. And before we jump into the topic today, I want to highlight this little guy. So people that are watching, this is the dino that Amy made, right? She took the time to make this for Derek. He loves this little guy. And I keep telling her she should make these and sell it because they're so soft. It's so amazing. So if you have any feedback for her and you want one, just message her. But yeah, anything you want to say about this beautiful creation that you made?
No, I mean, I made it. It took me a couple hours.
That's it? Just a couple hours?
Well, if you count, it's a couple hours. But
okay.
I took
a little bit each day,
like a week. Yeah, like a week. I want to say because it takes a bit, and I have to stuff it. I gotta get the stuffing and everything.
Yeah,
for it.
Very talented lady over here. But okay. So, and I'm over here sitting clutching the whole time that we've been talking. All right. We'll jump into the topic. So one of the things that we came across on Instagram was another podcast. We were going to play the clip, but we weren't sure if we were allowed to. So
it's probably like their property kind of situation.
So I didn't, we didn't want to get flagged or anything like that. But long story short, on this podcast, we could always put the clip on the description. So we'll do that. They had a psychologist that was on there, and basically it was talking about the daycare debate. So for working mothers, working parents that put their kids in daycare, the theory that it's very damaging for kids to go through that experience of daycare than being at home with the parents, right? Or really, let's be real, what they're saying is at home with the mom, because the expectation is the mom stays home, right? So she compared it, and one of like the main quotes was, She said it's as detrimental as a child feeling as if their parents died and abandoned them. Yeah. And I was like, what? I was like, that's crazy. But she has her supporting evidence to all this. And obviously, it's the internet. You're going to find theories, and it's science. You're going to find theories and data to support whatever claim or hypothesis it is that you have. And that's just what it is, right? So, but Amy and I have been wanting to talk about this for a while, too, because daycare, that's like a major decision that's kind of an automatic one for a lot of families, especially when you don't have the option or the privilege to stay home or have that support system where you don't have to put your kid into daycare. But I also know other moms that put their child into daycare because of the social benefits to exposing your child to other kids if they don't have that in their immediate circle, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to talk about today, and just our thoughts on it. So I guess I'll give it a start right now. So I wanted to put Derek in daycare, and I believe it's super beneficial because yes, it's tough. I know they cry. I will most likely cry the day that ever happens a lot, and I'll probably feel guilty and shitty. But I just know that he doesn't have other kids to play with here, right? And we don't have that village of other kids, essentially, and other families that he can play with that are immediately here. So to me, the thought process is we're putting him in daycare. Yes, it's an additional cost, an added cost, but we also get time to focus on work and other things, but he gets time to socialize and learn what I would say is like social cues and just being able to learn how to interact with other children his age and I guess, I don't know, like hear how other kids communicate, right? And learn from that. We haven't done it yet because, Tom and I both work remote for the most part. And for his first year and like 2 months of Derek's life, I was not working at all. So there was really no need for it. And then at the same time, too, we have to consider the cost of it. Yeah. So with one income at that time, we were like, what's the point of spending money onto daycare when I can stay home and I can learn how to do certain things and teach him certain things and walk with him, take him to the library, take him to these social group settings. And then he'll get that experience from those little moments. But I still felt like crap. I felt like he needed more. But obviously, like now I'm like, oh, he's fine. Like he's developing just fine. He interacts perfectly fine with other people. He has his normal stranger danger, but then he warms up to people. It's fine. So if you're fearing that aspect of it, if you didn't put your kid in daycare and they're homeschooled or, you're a stay-at-home mom and like all that stuff, I would say don't stress that. And if I ever do change my jobs, like my job right now, and I would have to leave the house, then we most likely do daycare at least 2 days a week because then it's just Tom at home by himself working while taking care of Derek. Yeah. So I'm not opposed to it. I don't agree with the theory that it's equivalent. Like the kids will feel the stress and the, I guess the triggering feelings that the psychologist said of that their parents died because they'll go through the crying session and it's shown like, they'll go through that moment, but it's just like when you play peekaboo. There was another therapist that said, it's just like when you play peekaboo and you're supposed to teach them object permanence, right? You're supposed to teach them that even though they don't see something right now, or you leave the room and you come back, you're going to come back. Yeah. And so for that moment, they're not going to see you. You're not going to be around. But at least you're teaching them that you will be back. Right. And so I think that that's a life skill, like a basic life skill that you kind of need to teach your kids regardless. Right. Yeah. So
something they learn. Yeah.
I don't think it's as extreme as that therapist or psychologist was saying, where it's like, oh, you leave your drop off your kid at daycare, they're going to feel like you died. Like, what? And I don't know. I think also that's just the clip that they use to
gauge attention.
Like reel people into the podcast and all that stuff. But I think that's such an extreme claim that shouldn't even be said, even if it's just like
an excerpt kind of, thing. Of whatever. Yeah. I don't know. When you sent it to me, when you sent it to me, I was like, well, what are they doing? They're like shaming the people that have no other choice.
And that was the other part of it.
What?
Yeah. And there's this other mom that sent it to me. I love her dearly, and we're like really close. And she sent it in a way of like praising me. Like, oh, like me and Tom, like you guys are both working, because she's a stay-at-home mom. And she's like, I don't know how you do it, like how you work. And Tom's working and you guys are still taking care of Derek without putting him in daycare. But my instant reaction, I kind of was like, I didn't even realize the thing she said. I just heard the clip. And I was like, this is why this clip is problematic. Like, I instantly was just like, this is terrible messaging, because you're shaming moms and parents for doing whatever it is that they have to do in order to go to work.
Yeah. And provide
for their family. Yeah. And also, even if it's because even if you are a stay-at-home mom, right? Let's use that example. But you need 2 days to take a break and do your own thing. Yeah. It's not the whole day.
I have a couple friends have done it. Like, they're all stay-at-home moms, but they're like, yo, we need a break. So I'm going to put so-and-so in class. And I was like, okay, I don't want to. Yeah. So I'm not going to.
For like 4 hours a day, right? Yeah. They get to go and socialize and do that. And you get to go do whatever you want. Yeah. Right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So when you have clips like that floating through social media, which is one of the, we always talk about like good things and the bad things about social media. That's one of the bad things, because a mother, think about it this way, a mother that's battling her post-anxiety, postpartum depression, or whatever it is, and she has to put her kid in daycare, right? And she comes across a clip like that. Like, how horrible would be, like, me, I'm going to put myself in that position. Yeah. And when I say that scenario, I think of myself, like when I was in the throes of like postpartum depression, I would have felt horrible. Yeah. That would not help me in any way at all. I would have felt like a terrible mother, and it would have just instantly spiraled into negative thought after negative thought and all that. Yeah. So I just feel like, why even put stuff like that out there? You know, but whatever. Everybody's aware of theories and studies and all that stuff.
It's like, what is it? Everyone has an opinion.
Everybody has an opinion. Yeah.
And you can back it up with facts if it's fine, but I don't know. Everything you have to take with a grain of salt.
Of course. Of course. How does that clip make you feel? Because obviously, I know your reaction was, oh, that's horrible. You're shaming moms. I was like,
what if you didn't have a choice and you had to put your kid in daycare immediately after having them, after whatever time period you got after work, right? Like, some people don't even get.
They don't even get
3 months,
leave of whatever.
Some people get like, what is it? The minimum 6 weeks, 5 weeks? I don't remember.
And some people don't even get that.
So
yeah, it's 6 weeks.
You know, like, and you had to immediately put your baby into whatever nursery daycare situation. Yeah. Like you said, like, if you are going through something, why, if you saw this, it would probably break you down. So I was obviously upset. I was like, what is this? Yeah. Like, what are you talking about? I mean, obviously I didn't have this problem because, you know, I stayed home. Yeah. And Sienna's fine, I think. Maybe a couple things here and there. But Sienna's fine. Milo's fine. I mean, they both stayed home. I did take them to little social things, like you said, to the library. We'd do little classes where they meet other kids. We'll do little play dates here and there. It's fine. Like, you do what you can with the time that you have. Yeah. I think is what it comes down to.
Yeah. And I also, I mean, I have my worries about putting Derek in daycare. Like, I hesitate. Like, now, Tom and I are in agreement. Like, we're like, let's wait until he can actually, like, tell
you things. Yeah.
Tell us things. Because, you know, and it's horrible to think that way, because I'm like, oh, if somebody touches him, or...
Did you... The freaking lady, I don't even
know.
In the Bronx with the drugs.
With the drugs? Yeah, with fentanyl.
But the thing is, you also have to do your research, right?
No, but listen. Like, here's the thing. And I think this is the couple. I think they were both, from... One of them just got here from DR or something like that. And, like, they're both working to support their family. And they have other kids. And I think the daycare was recommended by the social worker
Oh boy.
Or something like that. Like it was like a if it wasn't the social worker, it was like a government program of some sort that daycare I think was not sponsored, but they covered the cost if they went to that daycare. Kind of. So I guess not kind of sponsored, but it was one of the included daycares. So if I'm a parent, right, and I'm like, I'm desperate for help because I need to go to work, and it was the first week of those kids being in that daycare, the first week, and that happened, which was so horrible. Like I'm fighting back tears because it's disturbing that even happens. But the first week of them being in there, and they had no other choice because they have to go to work. It was recommended by whatever government assistance, social worker, or whatever.
They had filed whatever paperwork and all that stuff to be
you as a parent,
authorized.
Of course. Right? You as a parent feel the credentials are there. They have other kids. My caseworker or whatever is recommending this. And it's close to home.
What I thought was weird about the whole thing was a daycare in an apartment, right? Because it was an apartment. They have them, though. Yeah, I've never really liked those for some reason. I mean, I'm sure there's good ones, but for some reason, it's just I don't find it.
I feel the same way. I get it.
I guess,
but they're very common, especially in New York City.
If something fucked up is gonna happen, it's gonna happen anywhere. Really, of course. But I don't know. Just the whole apartment thing just kind of freaks me out.
Like you would have been turned off automatically. Yeah. I get you. But I also understand from the parents' perspective.
Because like, they probably was like, they gotta go to work. It was probably like, you gotta put them in somewhere, right?
Gotta go to work. And also the last thing you expect is a drug ring going on in the background of a daycare.
And that was stupid on the part of the people with the daycare. The lady running it, right? Because
scenarios like that I think it was her boyfriend or something like that. Scenarios like that, it's where I'm like, the death penalty should be in place in New York because you put those kids in danger.
One of the little kids actually died, right? I think it was too. Yeah, I did see that.
The little kid died, and his older brother, I think, the older brother was in critical condition or something.
Yeah.
You kind of sometimes are like, oh, maybe I'll put them in a daycare and then they'll let them cry a little bit longer or whatever. The last thing I would expect is fentanyl and other drugs to be in play in the background. So, death penalty for those people. Those are things I don't like. I know, we're joking about it, but I'm not. I'm not. You just don't harm innocent children.
Me, it's just more like death penalty at in the same manner in which the person died.
Oh, an eye for an eye type of thing. Yeah. But in that scenario, I would probably try to make it worse for them because those poor kids, they just inhaled it.
Yeah,
like because it was in the air. This went dark real south, real quick. This went south real quick. So daycare, about you.
But then there's also the whole. I know some people don't like the situation thinking about putting like the little babies in daycare because of germs. Yeah, because they get sick. It's almost a given. They get sick, and I actually like for me that I didn't put them in daycare because that was a major thing for me. I'm like, oh man, they're gonna get sick. Nah, forget about it. First year in wasn't even kindergarten because she did preschool, and I think what helped was that the preschool I sent her to was outdoors most of the time. So they spent a lot of time outdoors. So they weren't really, and it was right after COVID. So they were wearing masks indoors for a couple months, right? Freaking kindergarten rolled around and she was out every 2 weeks or so because she was getting sinus infections. She got COVID the first week of school. Milo got RSV. She got RSV, like a small stint of it. It was bad. And the flu and all that, everything, even though we protected them with the vaccines, they still got sick. Thank God not to the extent where we had to hospitalize them or, any of that. But it was bad. So it doesn't matter. They're going to get the germs regardless. People send their kids to school sick regardless. Yeah.
Because people have to work. People have to do things. I'm paying for this, so bye-bye. Go to school.
I guess. I mean, it's hard because it's like, and I kept thinking like, wow, if I had to work, I would have to it would fall on me to take the day off.
You have to take a day off.
I think Vic would step up at some point and be like, hey, you've taken enough days, switch, you know, like you go to work, I'll stay with the kids but like just thinking about parents that don't have that option and they have to go to work. It's like, well, what do you do with your sick kid?
Not only that, think of single parents. Like you have no partner or support system there that's going to be like, oh, I got to go to work. Can you take the day off? And I just feel like when you have that narrative of, oh, you're making your child feel like you died and abandoned them by dropping them off at daycare. Like that shit is toxic. Like you can't.
That's a little extreme, I think.
Right?
I think that might have been. She might have misspoken just to make it like
to catch your attention. Yeah. Like one of those. Now that I have your attention, I can talk to you about this other stuff. But it's helpful in one way, but I do understand how like exposing them to germs and all that stuff. But is that really such a bad thing? Because think about it. You're building their immune system by exposing them to germs to begin with. That's such an early age too. Isn't that essentially what a vaccine is? They have a little bit of the virus so that it builds the immunity and like all that stuff, right? So I don't know. I think the benefits outweigh the I guess the stigma or like the downside of sending your kid to daycare.
Or any negative. Yeah. It outweighs any of the negative aspects that you might be hearing from other people.
Yeah. Like, I'm definitely putting him in there, probably next year.
Yeah. He'll be what, 3?
He'll be 3.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? I'm going to have a 3-year-old. So crazy. 35 years old. A 3-year-old. Anyway. But yeah, so how does Vic feel about daycare? Like, does he...
I'm trying to remember. I don't even remember if he went to daycare. Because he was in DR, right? He was in... No, I think she might have put him in, like, little school. Like a little school in DR. Because she has a picture of him, and he was probably 3 or 2 in that picture. And he had, like, a little school uniform on. And, like, little white little shorts or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she did put him because she was working. His mom was working the whole time. So yeah, he did do daycare. I don't think he has any like ill feelings towards daycare. He wanted to see because he was like at some point he told me, "Do you need a break? You want to put him in for 2 days a week?" Even with Sienna, it was like, "Do you need a break? You know, you can put her in. We could drop her off." And it was just like I was like, "There's no point." She wasn't like. Sienna wasn't too high maintenance.
Okay.
I feel like with Milo, I have more of a hard time because he wants to run everywhere. He wants to be in everything. So it's like he's included in everything. I'll cook. I had to buy him like actual knives and stuff so he could help me cook. So he cuts up stuff while I'm doing stuff. I have to keep him more
entertained,
active, and more entertained than I had with her, I think.
Okay.
I feel so.
You gotta show me that set that you got him. At what age did you do that? Recently?
Yeah, recently. I recently got it's like a serrated knife that if he were to cut his finger, it's a plastic knife. I don't think it cuts him. It'll cut I don't know how that works, but
yeah.
I'll put
how did you find it?
We'll put the link. I think it was one of those mom things that I follow on Instagram.
The mom groups?
I think it's Busy Toddler, I think is her name. I think
I know who that is, yeah.
And she had it, and I was like, "Oh, I'll just buy it. It's off of Amazon."
Okay. Yeah. And then, so how do you feel? All right, so you have that, and then you told Vic, "No, like I don't need a break. I'm good."
And I didn't do daycare. Did I think about it? I didn't do daycare. My mom used to work at the school, right? So my grandma took care of me. She used to come up because she lives in the city, so she used to come up. She used to come up, and she would. Oh. Let me not even be. I have like so many. My mom and my grandma never got along, so that was a difficult thing
because this is your father's mom, right?
Yeah. Okay. So she came up, and sorry, I just thought about something, and she would take care of me, and I'm getting emotional because she's 102. Yeah. She's still alive, but I miss seeing her that way.
Yeah.
And the way I remember her. Sorry.
It's okay. And you saw her the other day, right?
Yeah. So, it's like, I remember her playing with me and doing things. Sometimes I'll remember things.
Yeah.
And really randomly. So
that's a
she used to
memory.
take care of me. But my mom and her would never get along because my grandma was like, you have to pay me to take care of these kids. So my grandma and her was always
like, I love these kids, but just
but you have to pay me because she had to take the train up. She had to take the train back down. She needed to, if anything needed to be done at home, she would actually help, She
would buy the food and all that,
So with that, I didn't even go to daycare. I learned whatever from my grandma, and my first language was Spanish.
Yeah.
I learned English going into kindergarten, I believe. Yeah. So that's funny, actually. I was thinking about that the other day because my kids don't speak a lick of Spanish.
No, they don't know Spanish?
I started teaching Milo Spanish. So it's funny, randomly the other day, he said, adios to my dad. He was like, adios, grandpa, adios. And I was laughing. And I was like, oh, okay, you are picking up stuff. All right.
Yeah,
so
that's
I was
cute.
Trying to teach him that. Sienna knows a couple of words here and there.
Okay. Does Vic talk to the kids in Spanish?
Vic? No? Have you heard him talk Spanish? No.
I have not.
Forget about it.
Actually.
Yeah, because he doesn't speak Spanish. It's so funny. It's at the school, they needed a translator for Spanish. And they asked him, they went up to your brother and they were like, do you speak Spanish? And he goes, she does. He points at me, and then they made me translate for a couple parents, which was funny. And he just throws me under the bus, and then he leaves me.
Yeah. He's like, bye.
He's like, that's your problem. I'm like, yeah, man, you speak Spanish? He's like, no, it's really bad.
That's really crazy, bad. Though, that the school doesn't have a translator.
Oh, I don't know. There's a couple teachers.
That's a whole other topic.
There's a couple teachers there that have Spanish last names. And I was like, oh, you definitely have to speak Spanish.
I mean, you don't. No, not necessarily.
This lady particularly, she's definitely Puerto Rican and she's definitely Hispanic.
But she probably doesn't speak Spanish.
I guess. I don't know. It's okay if you don't.
Yeah.
It's fine, but
we talked about it in a couple podcasts, for one of the early ones, I remember. Yeah. Because I think you said my dad or something like that was like, oh, he
didn't speak to me at all.
Or something like that.
I didn't speak Spanish.
Yeah. But it's people judge Latinos all the time. That's
also because hi, I'm Amy. Nice to meet you.
But you also know, the type of person he was and what he's done. So it's you're not going to be the friendliest to him anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but point is, in summary for all that too, you don't have to speak Spanish in order to prove you're Latinx, Latina, Latino, whatever.
Yeah.
You can be Latino and not speak Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
So you're teaching them Spanish.
Yes.
So one of the things that I think about too with daycare and all that is he learning enough? Is he the alphabet, the sounds, reading, letter, all that stuff? And I'm like, yeah, he knows his letters, his numbers, and all of that. And I think we have so much available to us on our phones, so many teachers that are online.
Yeah.
There's this guy that I follow. His name is Spencer. I think you follow him too. I think it's Toddlers Can Read.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about.
I love him. He talks about teaching the kids the sounds.
Yes.
Of the letters as opposed to just the letter, right? And then combining the sounds and things like that.
So that's funny because Sienna learned those exact way of the sounds in kindergarten. That's how they teach them to read,
so that's another thing. They don't teach that in daycare anyway. They teach it in kindergarten. No, so the pressure that some parents like me at the time felt oh, I should put him in daycare so he can learn the colors and numbers and all that. They don't teach that anyway.
Yeah. They learn that. I mean, do they? I don't know. I guess it depends on what you're looking for because there's other daycares. I know there was a daycare that's more of a, not daycare. It's kind of like school.
Like a pre-K.
Yeah.
What do you call that? Is there such a thing? Pre-K?
No. Like a Head Start program, maybe?
Like a Head Start program.
Yeah, I think is what we're thinking of. But I know there's plenty of there's a preschool.
Pre-preschool, yeah.
Preschool. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the type of things that I think about. But I think it's just, this is the time for them to be kids and not have to stress like this added pressure of us. Like we said in the episode with Raquel, it's like this imaginary competition of, oh, I'm a better mom or my kid's better than, and all this stuff. And it's like, it's all made up. And I think just social media kind of created that, like heightened that pressure of, well, does your kid know the numbers yet? Does he know the colors yet? And all this stuff. And it's like, he's a year. Like, how is he supposed to?
Who was it? For Halloween, I told Milo, I was like, Milo, go left. Yeah. And the lady that's giving like the candy out, she goes, what do you mean go left? He doesn't even know what his left is. I was like, yes, he does. I was like, yes, he does.
That's really
And she was surprised because he went left.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was telling him. I was like, go left, or go right, go right. And she was like, why are you telling him left and right? I was like, ew. I'm about to skip your house.
I don't need your candy and your judgments.
I'm about to skip your house. Actually, it's funny because just off topic, and I thought of this because when you do trick-or-treating, I don't know if you like growing up, did you do trick-or-treating?
Growing up, I did.
So I never did because my parents were super religious. And we like never did that, never dressed up, none of that. So now I don't know if I'm super weird about the whole thing. In general, I don't knock on people's doors if they don't have candy outside and I don't see you outside, even though your porch light is on. I do not approach. Okay. That's one. Two, if there's too many of y'all and you got an American flag as a mailbox, I ain't going up because that means you know what that means.
No.
January 6th.
No,
sorry.
No.
I was like,
maybe in your area.
Yes, but in my area. So I saw a couple gentlemen and like huddled, and they were like really like Duck Dynasty situation.
Okay.
I was like, I gave him the side eye. I look at Vic. I was like, keep walking. We ain't stopping there. He was like, why not? I was like, if they got a mailbox and it's the U.S. flag, it ain't happening.
And they look like they belong in Duck Dynasty.
Yeah, I was like, no, it ain't happening. I was like, there's just some people that creep me out. And I think this is like the second time this has happened. Like the other time there was a dude that was sitting down and he looked like he could just like, I don't know. He looked like he owned a ton of guns and it was all under lock and key in his cellar. I was like, I'm going to keep it moving because I don't want to talk to you.
So when I did trick or treat, obviously I was in the city. And so it was a little different because you did have to go you were in an apartment building, most likely. I mean, I grew up in an apartment building, but we would do little parades like in Riverdale and like around, and like the kids would dress up. Like we would do it with the school sometimes, and like you would go dressed up, and then you go, oh, trick or treat, and like whatever. So it was never like you're knocking on people's doors like movie. No, it was never like a movie type. But you live in the suburbs, so
there's
it's a little different. You have to go up to the porch.
It's cute. It's cute.
And
real cute.
You're in a predominantly white area that's very country-ish like. Yeah. So it's different. But
if you got those signs on your yards, I ain't stopping. I don't care about your political affiliation, but I ain't dealing with you. I'm not.
And one of the things I remember, like I had the actual plastic pumpkin with like the little black handle, and I would go trick-or-treating. And I remember my mom, like, because around that time you would see news stories like, be careful, check your kids' candy for razors and drugs and like all this stuff.
Found out why they did this.
Why?
Because some dad took an insurance out on his kids and he killed them. He gave them the poisonous pixie sticks.
What?
To get the money. This is why this happened. My body.
This is where was this?
It was like some white dude. You hear me? Well, he took out an insurance on his kids. And
I'm offended on behalf of Tom.
And he gave him it was a pixie stick laced with the drugs and killed the kid. Yeah. And the only reason they found out was because I think he called the insurance immediately after.
My
and God. This is why we have to check our candy, because this is what happened that year.
Well, there was, I think it was last year.
I think it got worse,
Fentanyl was found in traces of candy and shit. And I'm like, all right.
And then this year, for us up here, it was someone's weed gummies got mixed up.
I saw a news article about that.
Someone got mixed up, and it was like they gave them out to the kids, and it was funny because I saw the thing and it looked like what, Sour Patch Kids or some shit. I was like, oh my god, this is insane.
And edibles are the worst. Have you ever had edibles?
No,
I have by accident, and that's the worst kind of way to get high when you don't know. Somebody gave it to me, so his coworker asked him for like a sweet tart. I probably said this in another episode. I don't remember. But he didn't tell me that it was some edible that he got from like Holland or one of those European countries. And then it kicked in, and he told me after the fact. And then it was like 5 milligrams. I don't know whatever it was. I tripped out. Like, I was super paranoid. I was convinced. Like, it was a bad trip. It was bad. And ever since then,
Instead
I was like,
mellowing you out, it made you worse. Yeah, sounds
my
like
anxiety went through the roof. This was in San Francisco, actually, when we lived there. And so there was a point where Tom was laughing at me, and I was like, no. And I started crying. I was like, it's bad. Like, I need to try and sleep this off or something. And I went to the room, and I went to the bed, and Tom stayed in the living room. And I swear to you, this is how messed up I was. I swore that Tom was peeking through the door and laughing at me through the door.
Tell us the truth, Tom. Tell us the truth. Why are you doing this?
He swears that he wasn't. He swears he wasn't. And then when we talk about it, he just cracks up. But yeah, no. So edibles are the worst. Some people respond well to it. Not my thing.
And same thing happened to my sister. She like got some from like a neighbor or something. Sorry if I'm selling you out right now, but so funny. She was like, "Hey, babe, help me." I was like, "I'm not doing anything for you.
You just gotta write it out."
I was like, "Bro, you took it."
Oh, so she took it knowing.
Yeah, she was like, because they told her it was going to help her calm her down a little bit. Cause she's like, she has anxiety and, it's just like, whatever. That made it worse.
Yeah. Well, it depends on what strain you get and all that stuff. Like, I've vaped like weed before and things like that, and smoked blunts and whatever. I never had bad trips like that. So I didn't expect that to happen after he told me what it was. I was like, oh, okay, I'll be fine. And we're sitting over there. This is in San Francisco, watching Impractical Jokers on like the TV, and I'm like tripping out. Like, the laugh was
too
weird and warped, and it was too much. It was like a fever dream. There. You know when you have a fever dream where like you feel like your hand is like 10 times the size, and you're just like, no, I can't do this. I need this to just go away. But anyway, daycare. But no, these are all relevant things that just recently happened. But anyway, verdict is for me, for daycare.
Promise we're not tripping out now either.
I'm eventually going to put him back in daycare. I'm not back in. I'm eventually going to put him in daycare. At least 2 days a week for like 3 hours in the day.
Start your research now. Start putting yourself on waiting lists.
And then there's like the Montessori daycare versus regular daycares. And I'm like, there's just so much. It's never ending.
The Montessori's, I was like, it's a joke. But no offense to anybody who actually uses it.
Why?
Over here, because it's like, no, it's like paying for college, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
And it is really expensive.
It is crazy expensive.
Really expensive.
Like, it's a whole salary.
Yeah.
Like, a whole master's degree worth of a salary.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it is. It is a master's.
Like, job if you do it for that, it requires a master's degree and 10 years experience. That's the salary.
If you're doing, what is it? For $11,000 a year, your master's, whatever online institution is it that is doing it for $11,000, that's
Phoenix,
what it costs.
The Phoenix University.
I don't know what commercial I'll be seeing all the time.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. So if you can, great. If you don't want to, great too. I feel like the point of it all, whether you're with it or you're not. Well, wait, what's your theory on that? Like, would you put the kids eventually in some sort of daycare?
Well, I'm already past that age. I'm past that age. So next year he starts preschool, and I have to register him come January for preschool for next September. So, and then I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do with my time.
Well, you said on other episodes that you might go back into
but it would have to be like a part-time or something. I don't know.
Like ease back into it.
I don't know. They don't really hire part-time engineers anywhere, really. So
maybe you could be a freelance consulting engineer where you can work on specific projects on your own time and do all that.
I had an old person like that. Yeah, I know someone who does that.
I forget the name, but there is one of the top architects in the country, if not the world. She's the top female Asian architect in the country of the world, based out of Chicago. And when we were doing the architectural tour, they were talking about her because she was the one that created one of the tallest buildings there, like residential buildings. And she has like her own architectural firm and all that stuff. And I instantly thought of you. I was like, look at that, breaking like barriers and like glass ceilings, like women in the industry like you, where you guys are doing things that otherwise like it's a male dominated industry. Yeah. But I'll find out the name and then you can look it up. Yeah.
I started looking, but we'll see.
Yeah. You never know. You might, or you could have a full-time
knitting job.
You could create these beauties. Look, she created that hat. Look how beautiful that hat is.
I just finished.
Your perfect neutral, warm nude, pink neutral. But yeah, you never know where life will take you. So daycare, you're past that age.
I think, I'm past it, but I think that if it works for you, it works for you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's just it's up to you. It's not anyone else's decision. Yeah. I don't think you should let anyone else's opinions like seep through your mind and your own judgment, because then you'll just feel bad. Yeah. And we're not here to feel bad.
I think you have to, and we've said it with other things too, you have to do what's best for you and your family. And if you need that break, or if you need to put your kid in daycare because you need to go back to work, or whatever it is, whatever the reason is, you don't have to explain it to anybody. You do your research.
And thinking back, I think I probably should have put them in something for a couple weeks, just for my benefit, I think, in the long run.
Okay.
For my benefit. There you go.
So you had that realization right now. Look at that.
Yeah, I think they and also maybe for them a little bit, just because of what's been going on with Sienna and her little, she's social anxiety that she has. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it?
You want to tell us all? No, I think I've mentioned it before, where she like has a little bit of a meltdown, but going into parties. It hasn't happened in a while, and she did it yesterday at a birthday party. She didn't want to go in at all. But I think it was mostly she's a very picky eater. So I was telling Vic, I was like, she doesn't eat properly during the week, right? Okay. She doesn't sleep that well because she's hungry, right? I'm like, she's hungry. I know she's hungry because I'm watching her eat the stuff, and I'm like, that doesn't fill you up. You can only go on carbs for so long before feeling hungry. So I'm like, she's not eating well. She's not sleeping well. She's tired from school. She should have taken a nap before going to the party. Yeah. She did eat. She had pizza, but pizza with nothing on it. She doesn't have pepperoni. She doesn't have...
Yeah, there's no protein.
There's no protein on anything. Yeah. And it's like, I have to literally shove things down her throat for her to eat. Like, I tried to make her eat, what was it the other day? Salmon. Try the salmon. Yeah. Just put a little bit in your mouth and just chew it. No, I don't like it. Blah. But I'm like, okay, the chicken that I made, even if it's not chicken nuggets, she won't eat it. Okay. So I'd rather give her chicken nuggets than nothing, right?
You make the chicken nuggets, or you get them from
I just buy them because she knows the difference. I've tried everything. She's just like, no, I don't like this. Or I'll get like the ones that have like vitamins in them. She don't like those. I tried that. She doesn't like that.
Yeah. Okay.
I did the tater tots with the broccoli, and she don't like that.
So you end up basically eating it.
Yeah. So I just give her vitamins and other stuff to try to supplement somewhere. But I
think she was just like burnt out a little bit.
So I've been doing a lot of reading and research, and I think it has to do with her, not malnutrition, but she's not eating properly, right? So she's not sleeping.
She's tired.
She's tired. She doesn't want to do anything. So she's kind of like, and that affects your mood in the long run if you're hungry and long-term hungry. And yeah. So I think she's just having this mood where she doesn't want to do anything. She's fine in school otherwise.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know if she hasn't like properly, I don't know what the term is, like that, like properly processing her emotions properly still yet. Like she's still trying to
she's still
regulate that a little bit. Yeah. Because her dad surprised her going to read and she lost it again. She started crying randomly.
But not out of happiness.
And we were laughing. Yes, it was, I don't know. Actually. I told my sister, I'm like, yo, she started crying again, bro. She was like, you should just tell people he's deployed and he surprised her because at this point, they're going to think that y'all separated and she don't see her dad. She doesn't see no. Because, yeah, I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And it took her a while to calm down.
Is this something you've spoken to the doctor about?
Yes, and she was like, it takes some time for them to regulate that thing. It's okay. It's normal. Some kids do that. Normal. She was like, some kids do that. She was like, talk to me if it's really, really bad and she's doing it consistently. But she doesn't. Like I told you. We've been to 2 parties. She's been fine.
Okay. Yeah.
This is her 3rd party. I think she's partied out. She's got another one next weekend, I think.
But think about it this way. We do it as adults too. Like,
got 2 more. 2 more parties to go to.
She's 2 more.
The 18th and the 19th. She's got one's a movie theater.
Those are back to back?
And one's a swimming one.
There's no time to recharge.
No. So
you may be okay on the 18th. The 19th, you might have a problem.
Well, that's good because that's a swimming one. She doesn't really... I don't know how she's going to do on that one.
Okay.
So it might be best to sit that one out.
Are you an introvert? I forget.
Yes.
Okay.
Not with people that I know.
See, like, I'm an introvert. Mm-hmm. I can't have back-to-back events like that. I feel exhausted, and I will find any reason to cancel and say no because I need time to recharge. I feel depleted. While I'm there, I'm good, but leading up to it, I'll have like social anxiety, and I'll change my outfit 5 times, and I'll be like, oh my god, my same makeup that I do all the time, for whatever reason, I can't do it that one time. So I feel like those are all behaviors that even an adult with anxiety can feel in a social setting, in a social interaction heading into it. So I wouldn't stress too much about it. I would just, try and acknowledge it,
Just trying to tie it back in, but like I feel like maybe doing like the daycare thing with probably maybe would have been like, or even with sending her somewhere earlier, where she would have been that way she would have been exposed to seeing more kids, having more like, I don't know, more social interactions with people or trying new foods. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
But the food thing is
I don't even know because Milo, like I said, he eats everything.
Right now.
He puts anything you put in front of him, he'll try it.
But that's the thing.
Even if you don't like it, he'll be like, oh, I don't like it, Mom. And then he'll eat something else.
Like Derek is like that too. But he'll go through stages when he's teething. He won't want to eat anything. But I think every person I know that has kids goes through that stage of they don't want to eat anything. They're picky or they have their tantrums and this and that. And then they get out of it. Well, I think what we have to remember too as parents is they're learning how to regulate. They're learning how to have these outlets and these feelings come out of them that may come out as a tantrum, quote unquote tantrum, or, a panic attack, whatever it is. But that's because they don't know how to regulate it yet. So I don't think it's anything to worry about. Like you said, your doctor's not worried about it. The food, I think, is just a phase. I wouldn't worry about it. But yeah, maybe with daycare, maybe that would have, been different. I think about that too. Because Derek, sometimes if we go to my brother's house, because it's loud there and like a lot of things going on, a lot of people, it's too much stimulation all at once. And so like he clings more to me and he doesn't want to go to anybody else. But then eventually he'll warm up. But very instant, I'm like, oh, like those are the parts where I'm like, I should have probably put him in daycare. So he can get used to like loud noises and all that stuff. Because at home it's quiet and peaceful. Like he's not used to multiple kids running around and all that. So I don't know. So we just said multiple pros for putting your kid in daycare. But yeah, so if you had another kid, would you put them in daycare earlier on?
Probably.
That you.
And then also, like, I feel like I missed out on things from like Sienna school, like being able to chaperone or do anything because I have Milo. Yeah. And I don't have anyone to really watch. Yeah, and you can't bring him. They don't let you bring siblings, so. Yeah, it's kind of like I would be nice to have that time to just be able to go and join them. So maybe next year.
So there you go. Daycare, your decision, whatever works for you and your family. And obviously everybody's going to have an opinion, but their opinion doesn't matter. In the words of Raquel from the previous episode, when she's like, that's fine. If somebody thinks you're ugly or doesn't like you, that's fine. You don't have to think that you're ugly, and you don't have to think, you can like yourself. You can be happy with your decisions. Doesn't matter what somebody else thinks. You and your partner, or if you're co-parenting, you're single parent, you're okay with these decisions you're making. Your child is happy. They're well taken care of. What's the problem? Yeah. There's no problem, right? But anyway, here we are. And it's been another episode of the What's New Mama podcast. Thank you for joining us and listening to us go back and forth between multiple topics. But remember, this one was daycare. So,
oh my God.
Any last words?
Just remember that you're doing a great job.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.